Greetings, Glitter Gang. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday, May 14th. We are starting today the Echo Park version of the Catch a Tag Remastered. This will also be the landscape version of the Catch a Tag Remastered. And we're going to be using Echo Park's Back to School. Echo Park's Back to School paper. Catch Tag Remastered links for the paper and the album basics guide are in the video description. And I am gonna try and get the chat going. Just to let you know, the person who just chatted to me in the chat that I can see is Donna Jet. So Donna Jet said hello. If you can see where Donna Jet said hello, then you are in the chat for the current stream. If you can't, then you'll need to refresh your page to get the current chat back. So hopefully everything is working just fine in terms of audio and video. If you can see me like normal and hear me like normal, type a 1 in the chat, please. And if you don't see a bunch of people, I'll tell you who types a 1 first, and if you don't see that person, you're in the wrong chat. Crafting with Jean was the first person to type a 1, followed by Nancy D. So if you don't see Crafting with Jean and Nancy D's 1s, then you need to refresh your page to get to the current chat. So, all right. So everything appears to be working just fine. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, Mr. Lifeguard, you may be excused. Thank you for your service. Wee. Right, unfortunately, Tiny Cat got bored with all the restarts and wasn't getting enough scritches, so she wandered off. So sorry about that to those of you who were enjoying Tiny Cat just taking up the entire desk. Remember to drink plenty of water so you stay hydrated, especially with all the hand washing. All the hand washing. All right, I'm back. I have returned. Today, we shall start a new album. We are going to do the landscape version of the Catch a Tag album. We finished the portrait album. So, the landscape album is going to be done with the Echo Park Back to School collection, so it's going to be done as a school version. We have some like starting a new album decisions to make today, and then I think we're going to create the entire album base all at one go. That's kind of my goal. So the first thing we have to do is we have to set aside the paper for our covers. So last time we forgot to do that. And of course, when I say we, I mean you, because I don't make mistakes. So this one's on you guys, obviously. But I forgot to choose the paper for the front cover, the front and back cover, and the liners for the front and back cover and the spine. So what I mean by that is when you're starting a new album, what you want to do is you want to set aside, before you do any other matting. Tiny was enjoying glittery nail scritches. She was. And when we were running around like unplugging cables and plugging cables back in and everything, Tiny Cat was crying like, what happened to my scritches? What happened to my scritches? But we finally got everything. I mean, we got the microphone working, and then the camera stopped working. So then we had to get the camera working. I don't know. All my equipment was like, we need a day off. We need a day off. We don't feel like working today. It's not what we want to do. So I'll tell you about my nails. My nails are from a company called The Nailist. And what The Nailist does is on fake nails like you would use for an acrylic extension is kind of what they're like. They paint designs and they put jewels and whatever, and then they mail them to you. And then you use nail glue, which is basically super glue, and you glue them to your nails. So you get a custom manicure without having to leave your house, which is essentially impossible to do right now. You can't get a manicure without leaving your house right now. As far as how long they stayed on, I had put them on last weekend. This one fell off yesterday. I just glued it back on again. And so the other 9 have been here for a week. So they were originally super long like this. I had to cut them way, way back because I literally could not like function. I couldn't do anything around the house. I could barely use my phone. So yeah, here they are. And all of the gems they came with are still on. So they haven't lost any gems, which is amazing because when I do gems on my nails, they don't last a week when I do my own gems. So I got 3 different sets from them to try from their ready to wear line. They have custom and they have ready to wear. And so I got 3 sets from the ready to wear, and I figured if they worked out, then I would get some of the custom ones, which is more expensive. But these are about $20-$25, which from the ready to wear ones, the instant ones. So if you wanna fancy up, you can go to thenaillist.com. But there are a bunch of companies that do this now. There's artists on Etsy. It's so there is a way to get your nails painted if you can't get a manicure where you live because of the current world situation. All right. All right. So once again, because we started a stream and stopped a stream and then started a stream again, you may not be in the chat that I can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type, "This is the right chat," in the chat that I can see. And if you do not see me type "This is the right chat" in the chat you're in, then you are in the old chat and you need to refresh your page to get a new chat. All right. So I have typed "This is the right chat" in the chat that I can see. So if you saw me type "This is the right chat," you're in the right chat. If you did not, then you need to refresh because you are not in the right chat. You're in the old chat, what we call the cornfield. Sandra gets to see me real big on the TV. That's how I watch YouTube, real big on the TV. All right. So like I said, we're starting back to school version of Catch a Tag Remastered. And we need to pick pattern paper for the outside of our album covers and for the inside of our album covers, the liner. So right now I'm just going to go through and look for, what do I think would be a cute cover. And then once we know what we're doing for the cover, and then this is why, and right now I'm reminded why I don't use that much Echo Park, and it's because, and I've said this before, but they tend to make only tiny, small and medium patterns, leaning towards small. They don't do a lot of big patterns, and so it can kind of be hard to pick something for your cover with them, because they usually don't have, although I kind of like the idea of doing like a composition book. And we could dress up the composition book. We could make like a plate, like a hello. Okay, let me just hold up a composition book. See here where it says composition book. We could, on our front cover, we could put like a cool embellishment cluster with a title, kind of like where this would normally be. So that's an option. So maybe we'll do that. I like this for the liner though. All right, so what do you think? Should we do composition book on the outside and this on the liner? I definitely want this for the liner. This is a great liner because it's got kind of all of the elements. You know, it's got the schoolhouse, it's got the pencils, it's kind of got everything. So this is a great liner. I'm going to set it to the side. And the stuff that I'm setting aside for the cover, I'm going to have to reprint because I only printed one of everything. So I'm going to have to print, you know, 2 of whatever we choose for the cover. So I'm going to set the cover right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just flip through all of them again. And we're looking for something we like better than a composition book. And obviously these plain ones we probably won't use. By the way, the cardstock came and there was so much of it that I was just like, oh, I can't do the book. It came yesterday. It's like I can't get this done before tomorrow, so there's no way. So I don't have a new swatch book yet, but at least the cardstock is all here. Now for the spine, I was thinking we could do an external spine with the red craft text because I have red craft text. So that could be fun to do an external craft text spine for this one with red because I do have red. So, but if we wanted to do an internal spine, I like the rulers. I like the rulers. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I think that just flipping through this, I think the composition book's as good as it's going to get. So I'm going to set aside the composition book, the ruler, and the, whatever this is, the collage, let's say. And I will print 2 of the composition book, 2 of the liner, and 1 of the ruler after the show, and I will set those aside and they will be saved for the cover, so we definitely have something. So I'm going to just set these to the side so we don't accidentally use them, and I will print some more of them so that we can still use them on the inside. Where did I get the red craft text? Gosh. I think I got that directly from CT Pub, I want to say. I think I did. All right. I'm going to get another bag for the paper because I need to start my various bags. I'm going to put the red craft text on top of the other paper so I don't use it. Oh, my bacon presses. Yay! Bacon presses. I found you. My bestest friends. My best friends are bacon presses. Woo! All right. Good news. Okay. I think I'm still going to do an external spine, but I'm going to set that paper aside just in case, and then we'll vote when it comes time to do it. So it'll be ready for whichever way the wind blows. All right. Okay. Okay, this I'll use. These will be my scraps, my bags for my scraps. And the reason I keep a smaller bag in the larger bag for my scraps is for the tiny ones that we use for the quilt pages, the quilted pages. Okay. All right. So, good job, team. All right, now let's do some planning here. I don't need this big book. We finished up the National Scrapbook Day class, and now the National Scrapbook Day class, I taught you all how to resize your pages into folios, and I taught you a technique for making them bigger. But in the Facebook group, Kay Fisher, she posted where she used the same technique to make the catch a tag smaller to make a mini folio. So she shrunk it down so that it only has one photo in the window, and then she turned that into a mini folio, which I liked because that shows how you can use that technique from the National Scrapbook Day class to not only to upsize albums into folios, but if the album is already large, to downsize it into a mini folio, which is super cute. So check it out in the Facebook group. It's very cute. And if you need a link to the Facebook group, it's in the live class video description, or it's facebook.com/groups/Kathryn's with an S Scrappers. So 2 S's in the middle. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're doing the portrait album of the catch a tag. Essentially page A looks like this. You know, it's got the window and then the tag at the top, right? There's a couple things we need to decide. One is how we want the book to open. I'm going to use a tab opening on this one instead of a circle punch out opening on this one, just so you see a couple different options for how to open your pockets. And the question is, do you want to have the tab here so it's a pull down, in which case this is the spine? Or do you want to have the tab here so it's a pull open to the right, in which case this is the spine? So that's decision number 1. All right, so if you want the tab at the top so that you pull it down, type a T for top in the chat. And if you want the tab on the left so that you pull it towards the right, type an L for left in the chat. Okay, so this one is T and this one is L. All right, so oh, and Joyce said she's been working on a smaller one with just the X portion, which reminds me that Joyce also used the National Scrapbook Day class to make a vertical X pocket. So I made a landscape X pocket. She used the National Scrapbook Day technique to do a portrait X pocket. So there's, you know, it's very versatile. You can do what you're limited only by your creativity with that one. All right, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Okay, so T is winning, so we'll go with pulling it down. We'll pull it down. All right, so it's a pull down. I'm just going to write that out so past Kathryn doesn't mess us up. And then the other thing we have to decide is if we want something in between the 2 pages. So if you recall, there's page style A, there's page style B, and in page style A, in between page style A and page style B in the portrait version, we put an accordion pocket. What I'm thinking that we should do is I think we should put a folder like a school folder that you could tuck things in the pockets. Because it is a school book. So that's one option that I thought of. Like a peachy. Yes, exactly like a peachy. That's one option. And then the other option that I thought of was to do like a Holy Joe, and have the base for page style be a Holy Joe. And then we would just have to figure out how we were going to do the waterfall with the holes in the Holy Joe. So that's actually probably a bad idea, but maybe it would just be a plain manila envelope looking thing and not a Holy Joe. Even so, the waterfall would cover almost all of the envelope, so I don't know how good that is. But anyway, maybe we should just do a peachy. I think we'll just do a peachy. So between pages A and B, we're going to do a peachy. Peachy style folder. Now, a peachy style folder, what differentiates it from an unholy Joe? A demon Joe. What is a Holy Joe? Let me see if I can put my hands on a Holy Joe quickly. What do I need? I need that travel album, huh? Kathy did send that back to me, so I do have it somewhere. The question is, do I know where it is? They're not the same thing. Having it and knowing where I put it, two different things to know. Oh, there it is. Look at that. All right. So a peachy, let me explain what a peachy is. A peachy was a folder that was designed with the pockets on the sides so that if you picked it up upside down, no matter which direction you picked it up, nothing would fall out of it. So like a standard folder with the pockets at the bottom, if you picked it up upside down, stuff could fall out of the pockets. But a peachy has the pockets on the sides so that stuff can't fall out of it. And so we would do the same thing. We would put the pockets on the sides for you to tuck your memorabilia, report cards, whatever. And then no matter how you picked up the album, nothing would fall out. So in a peachy folder, it's divided down the middle, same as a normal folder, but then the pockets are on the sides and you tuck stuff in here and here. So that way, no matter how you pick it up, nothing falls out. Because if you pick it up facing this where this is on the bottom, nothing falls out. If you pick it up where this is on the bottom, nothing falls out. And if you pick it up where the sides are on the bottom, nothing falls out. Okay. Let me show you what a Holy Joe is. This album was made out of Holy Joes. So this is that red craft text, by the way. So this is it. That's what's on this spine. Okay. All right, so this is a Holy Joe. And Holy Joes are what we called inner office mailers. And inner office mailers are stuff you use if you have a larger office with lots of people or multiple departments. It's stuff you use to send them to the mailroom for the mailroom to take to another department. And they have holes in them so you can see if they're empty, in which case they can be reused, or if there's still stuff in them. Now, I think they're called holy because they have holes in them, sort of like Holy Rusted Metal Batman. But it's like but I don't know where the Joe comes from. Their technical name is inner office mailer, but Holy Joes is what they were called in my office, and I Googled it, and that was not unique to my office. So that's what we call them. But I was just joking that we could make them without holes, and I could call them Unholy Joes, or we could call them Demon Joes because they're so unholy. Or Devil Joes. So, you know, then we have multiple layers of puns. We would have multiple layers of puns. So the issue would be with doing a Holy Joe in the album, the Catch a Tag album. If we did the waterfall, the holes would be covered by the pockets, the waterfall pockets. So it's not like, it's not like we would see that it was a Holy Joe, you know, so there would be no point in going to the extra effort of making a Holy Joe. We could just make a pocket, an envelope. And if we're just going to make an envelope, I think it's more fun to make a peachy. So that's why I just decided unilaterally to go with a peachy. But that's what a Holy Joe looks like. But if you want to make an unholy Joe, that's true. Schools use Holy Joes when they got to send stuff home for the parents to sign and stuff like that. That's true. That's true. All right. So yeah, so we're going to do peaches in between. That's just what we're doing. I decided. So, now that we know what we're doing, I think we can probably do a 1/2 inch in between the pages instead of an inch. So we would do 1/2 inch page, 1/2 inch page, 1/2 inch page, 1/2 inch. And so that's going to give us a 2-inch spine. Yeah, I just decided. No, there's no democracy. Democracy dies again. I mean, I don't know how many times we have to kill this zombie democracy for it to just be permanently dead, you know, because it just keeps rising up. It's so hard to put down. But, you know, once again, here we are. Democracy died yet again on Kathryn Scraps because, yes, tyranny, far more efficient. So, okay. So we're going to do a peachy in between the pages. I am going to put some kind of closure on the peachy just so it will be easier to turn the pages. And I think we're going to have a belt to hold down the waterfalls if we're going to have a folder. Otherwise, when you try to open the folder, what's going to happen is the waterfalls are all going to dangle and it's going to be hard to lay it flat. You're going to have to like hold the waterfalls. So we're going to have to put a belt on the waterfalls. So we also need a waterfall belt, which are 2 words that, you know, seem really dumb put together, but here we are. So we need a waterfall belt. We're going to put 1/2 inch in between the pages. We're going to put page A on the front of the peachy and page B on the back of the peachy, and we'll put a belt on the waterfall so that it doesn't whip open every time you try to open the folder. All right. Okay. So that's good. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make 3 page style A's, just boom, 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 boom. And last time we made page style A's, I put pattern paper behind. But this pattern paper doesn't have any like big scenes that we want to preserve. So I'll just do photo mats behind. So I need 3 sheets of white, 1, 2, 3 for my tags, and 1, 2, 3 for my photo mat that goes behind my tag. All right, so, and then I need of my base color, which I had planned for my base color to be flag blue again, but now I'm wondering if we should do black because of the composition book cover. What do you think? I think we should, okay. If you want it to be blue, type an L for blue. And if you want it to be black, type an A for black. I just use, I use these. I've been asked what type of transparency film to use. I just use Write-On because it's cheaper than Print-On. Okay, so black is literally the only thing getting votes. No one wants blue. So we will do blue. Haha, just kidding. We'll do black. So I just use Write-On transparency film because it doesn't have that printer coating. And this is the brand that I have right now, but I'm not like married to this brand or anything. So it's not like I strongly recommend it or strongly don't recommend it. All right. So then we need 1, 2, 3 sheets of the black for the page base, 1, 2, 3 sheets of the black for the wrapper window thingy, the wrapper window thingy. You know, the wrapper window thingy. All right, and then what do I need? 3 sheets of transparency. Well, I just lost my transparency box. Oh, here it is. I was like, well, that's amazing because I just had it in my hand. This is what I use instead of acetate because it's cheap. It's cheaper. It's probably not acid free. I wonder what it's made out of. Store in a cool, dry place. Yeah, it doesn't say what it's made out of. Like if it's made out of polyvinyl chloride, for example, then it wouldn't be acid free, but I don't know what it's made out of, so I couldn't tell you one way or another, so just assume it's not. So, you know, if that's something that really, really matters, then you should probably use acetate. But if you're not that worried about it, then, and I've always said that, you know, that's not something that's a huge concern for me because mini albums themselves are not archival safe, just as a general, like a general thing. Because they're handled so much. So I don't worry about, you know, I use, if I have a choice, I use acid free typically, but I don't go out of my way about it. But, you know, eventually over time, a transparency for a Write-On transparency probably, you know, will last 100 years without turning yellow. Probably not. You know, I don't know though. I don't know. I'm not a transparency scientist, as you can probably tell. Okay, so now I've got my 3 sheets of transparency. So, what, is that everything? That's everything. We got it all. We got it all. We got it all. All right. Oh wait, I need my, did I make a template for this tag? I probably didn't, like a lazy bum. Or the tag template's the same. The tag template's the same, Kathryn. Where's your head? Yeah, okay. Okay, I think the tag template's the same. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna look that up. All right, let's look it up in the manual, in the Album Basics Guide. Wouldn't that be smart? Okay. Page style A is on page 9. And the tag is the same size regardless. Okay. All right, so if you already made the portrait, that was really loud, sorry about that. If you already made the portrait one and you already have the template, you're in good shape. If you didn't, how to make the template is in the tutorial videos for the book. Oh, and we can't use 8.5 by 11 to make this, so I'm going to get 3 sheets of white paper. 12 by 12, which which I just got from the paper mill store. So remember how I told you not to try to add stuff to your cart to get your orders to 500 for the discount because it probably wasn't worth it? Well, my order was something like, you know, $425, and I know that the 250 packs of the cardstock are $75, so I added it, which took me over 500, which took 15% off, which then took it down to 427. So basically, I didn't really save any money, but I did get a free pack of cardstock. So, all right, 1, 2, 3. Hi, Anne. Okay. And Gretchen said that Graphics brand, which I love their chipboard, that's the brand I use for chipboard, Grafix, has an acetate pad available at Michael's. Maybe I should cut this down to the right size first. Maybe I should just not be lazy all the time. And when I cut these, I want the stiffer side to be the shorter measurement and the more flexible side to be the longer measurement. Okay? You want to go through the cardstock? Well, maybe if there's time at the end. We will do it. Because there's a lot of new colors. I think there might be more new colors than there were originally colors. So if you like my nails, you can get them. These are from the naillist.com. And they are pre-painted nails. You just glue them to your nails when you get them. So if you can't get a manicure, but you want a manicure, you can check them out. They have 2 kinds of nails. They have custom nails, and they have what they call instant nails. These are from the instant nails. I think. Or they might have been custom nails that they were clearancing out. I can't remember. All right, so I'm going to trace my 3 tags. 1, 2, 3. I've had these on for a week now. And so far the only one that's come off is my right thumb. But I just glued it back on. And one piece of advice I saw online was that if you are worried about the damage that the super glue would do to your, or the nail glue, which is super glue, it's the same product, would do to your nail, to like if it might tear the top layer off your nail when the fake nail came off, that you could give yourself a little manicure first with some glitter polish, and then put the nail over that glitter polish. So that's what I did. I gave myself a manicure with some glitter polish, and then I scratched off the top and to rough it up so it wasn't shiny. And I was glad I did, because I tore like half of the glitter polish off my nail. I had to repaint this nail. So I was like, well, if that, hopefully, like, if that had been my nail, that would have made me sad. So, all right. What we are making today, if you're just coming in now, is the Catch a Tag Remastered. We're doing Catch a Tag Remastered. And we are starting the portrait version today. And we have done the sort of planning portion, did that at the beginning, and now we're going to make the 3 page styles A, and we're just going to make them boom, boom, boom. We're going to make them all 3 at the same time. I'm just going to change my blade here. And these are X-Acto X-Life. If you ever wondered what I use, these are high carbon steel blades. Sharper than regular blades. They cut better. And you'll notice they're blue versus stainless steel blades, which are silver. And I just buy 100 packs of them. And then when I switch my blades out, I take a scrap of cardstock and my ATG, and I kind of just wrap the blade in cardstock so that when I put this in the trash, whoever changes the trash, it won't like slide through the bag and poke them. All right. So I'm gonna use my ruler and my craft knife to cut these. So we get a nice clean cut. It is a new theme. We're going to be doing school this time. We're using Echo Park's Back to School collection, which you can get the digital one from Snap Click Supply if you print your own paper. And I find that I go faster with construction if I do all my construction at once, and that's because I don't have to remember what I was doing, you know, after I've taken time to decorate and I don't remember what was going on. Okay. So now I'm going to get my scissors and I'm just going to cut in from the sides. This is not going to show, so it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. So you don't have to use a ruler for this. Did I finish like the May book? No, I did not. One of the books that I had on hold at the library became available, so I've been trying to read that. Which is Bunny by Mona Awad, or Mona Awad. Bunny as in bunny rabbit. And I put it on hold at the library because everyone said that it was totally weird and defied explanation, like literally could not be described. And I thought, these people are just being lazy. There's no way there's a book that cannot be described. And what I will tell you is this, that I could describe the book to you, and I'm not sure it would give you a feel for what the book is like, but I will tell you what I came up with as a description for Bunny when I was texting a friend about it. You'll tell me if you can picture this book in your head or not. All right. I said, it's essentially Frankenstein if Frankenstein was the Clique from Mean Girls instead of a mad scientist, and if instead of making monsters to further science, they were making monsters as a performance art piece for their MFA, while also struggling with their internalized misogyny and classism. So, well, the book makes Tiny hungry. So, Tiny started chewing on the Kindle. She got so hungry. So yeah, like that's what the book is. But I don't know if that tells you. It's basically, it's just crazy. Tiny wants both roadkill cuisine and fish. She wants a surf and turf. Now, I rounded the corners on the bottom because there was some curiosity as to if we rounded the corners on the bottom, would it go in and out of the pocket easier? Let's try it. The stiffer your cardstock is, the easier it's going to go in and out of the pocket. But yeah, Skink is totally crazy. Is this version going to be bigger than the one I just finished? No, it will be smaller. It'll be 3 pages, so it'll be the same number of pages, but it won't be as thick. We're just doing a 1/2 inch in between the pages instead of a full inch in between the pages this time. Okay. All right, so, well, I was going to say these are done, but they're not done yet because we still have to do their reinforcers. These inserts are the same size as the other one, so the SVGs that are already in the folder will work for these. Absolutely. Yep. Okay, so we got all 3 of our tags made. Now, what do we want to do? I guess we should make the window. Let's make the window. Let me get the book. Cha 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 cha. Okay, I'm gonna just do some chopping over here off camera. Some paper chopping. Alright, so I've got my 3-page bases. I think I just cut these all the wrong size. Nope, I didn't. Okay, so I've got my 3-page bases. Remember, we're doing the landscape album, so they're going this direction. Tiny gives it 2 very enthusiastic tongues up. Yes, that's funny. Alright, so we've got cut number 1 done. And then this is the tag, and the tag is cut number 4. Okay, so now I'm going to do cut number 2, which is the frame. Okay. All right, so here's cut number 2, which is the frame. And remember, the frame is the same width as the page base, because otherwise it would have to be 2 inches longer and it would be over 12 inches. So we need to add the 2-inch extensions on the side. So remember to do that. And we need a total of 6. 666. Oops. Ugh. So I need to make some more extensions. I was able to get 3 out of the scraps from the base page, but I'll have to cut a new sheet to get the last 3. Do 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 do. All right, so those are the extensions, which are cut number 3. We already did cut number 4, which is the tag. So now I just need to do the frame liner, which is going to be a photo mat in this book. So in the previous book, we did it out of pattern paper because we had some pattern paper with, like, you know, quote unquote too pretty to cover. This is a good place to use too pretty to cover paper. All right, so that's the liner, and now we just need the acetate, which is right there. All right, perfect. That's all our pieces to make 3 of them. Okie dokie. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully move everybody. And then we're gonna make the hole reinforcers first. That'll be the first thing we do so that then we can call these finished. So to make your hole reinforcers, you want to take a 1/4 inch hole and in just a, you know, a strip of cardstock, make 6 holes. With the 1/4 inch holes, punch. And then get your 3/4 inch hole punch. That's the one that I like. And just center the first hole the best you can in the second hole and punch. Okay. All right, perfect. So now I'm going to take liquid glue. I'm just going to use Scotch Quick Dry for this. And I'm just going to dot the Scotch Quick Dry around the hole. And then put the hole in place. Flip it over, give it a little rub to make sure it's stuck down well, and then dot the glue around. Pick up another one. Press it into place and set it aside. Get the next sheet. And press. I don't know where they are, Barbara Jean. When I lived in Miami, there was a wildfire that was close enough that if you walked outside, anytime you walked outside, you felt like you were standing right by a barbecue, like it was just smoking all the time. Outside of Pensacola, so that's not close to me. Pensacola is a different time zone from me, even. That's how far away it is. It'd probably take me, I don't know, 7 or 8 hours to drive there, maybe? Florida's a pretty big state because of how skinny it is. So long and skinny. But in terms of where it is, you know how Florida comes all across and then it comes down like this? Like Pensacola's like here before the bend, and then I live halfway down on the Gulf. So like this is in the same time zone as Alabama, and I'm on the Eastern time zone. You'd like to be long and skinny like the state of Florida? Okay, So the tags are totally done now, so I'm going to set them to the side with all the other stuff that doesn't need to get scored. Yeah, it's straight across for you, right? So you're... All right, now I need to do my scores. Before I do my scores, I'm going to do my cutting. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to cut first and then score. Yeah. All right, because it's easier to cut before it's been... Well, I'm not going to cut it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trace it where I'm going to cut it, and then we'll score it, and then I'll cut it. So that's what we'll do. So, and I'm going to use pencil because some of this will show. So, because I don't want it to show, you know, that's why I'm not using white, so that it's easier for you to see, is because some of this does show. So, but it's all in the instructional videos, so it's all good. And I've been doing the instructional videos with craft so that everything is easy to see, regardless of what the final project is made out of. All right. This does not look like it's the right size at all, though. I mean, like, I have a feeling it is, and I'm just paranoid. I'm probably just paranoid. I'm totally paranoid. It's the exact right size. It's like I don't even trust what I write down. Like, you know, that's my level. I'm at look both ways at a roundabout levels of distrust with past Kathryn. All right, so almost done. And this is the Catch a Tag Remastered album. And you do not need to own the original Catch a Tag in order to use the Remastered album basics guide. They're two completely different projects. The only thing they have in common is that the tags don't come out, that the tags are caught. But other than that, they're totally different books. So one guide is not needed to do the other. All right. All right, so now I'm going to do all my scoring. And then we'll do our cutting and our assembly. How fancy are we? And then I've got to score normally I don't do this where I turn it, score it at 1 inch and then turn it and score it at 1 inch, but this time I'm going to, nope, I scored the wrong side. I'm so, you know, pass Kathryn. Something felt wrong. Of course it gets scored on the short side. All right, I'm gonna press out my score as best I can. It's gonna be covered with pattern paper anyway, so, but I'm just gonna rub over the score line with my bone folder, and I just put it on a stack of paper so it gives it a little bit of a squish, and I'm just gonna rub out that score line as best I can. It's not gonna totally get rid of it, but it will flatten it quite a bit. All right. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. It's truly not, class isn't over until past Kathryn has come and wrecked something. That's true. Of course, all of the places that you score are listed in the guide and explained again in the video. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna score on just from here to here, from here to here on one side. So we're just scoring just within that pencil line that we drew. Well, when I feel productive, like I'm getting a lot of stuff done, that makes me happy. So I think because we're going to have 3 page bases done at the end of this class, that's putting me in a good mood. All right, so now I'm going to take these strips. These are the side strips. So we're going to fold all of these along the score lines and burnish Fat Slab. I also got a new speakers for my office, which have been really nice to have. But I am always happier at the, Gretchen says Kathryn's always happy at the beginning of an album than at the end. I am always happier at the beginning than at the end. Okay, then these on, I'm gonna put tape. Tape, tape, tape. Tape, tape, tape. Tape, tape, tape. All right. just on one side next to the score line, but not touching the score line, and next to the edge. I mean, the last few classes of Half the Fun almost destroyed me emotionally. That album was too big to do twice, the way that I did it. But, well, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. It's nice to have them both looking so cool, but I can't believe I even revisited it for National Scrapbook Day. See, this is so funny because as soon as I finish an album, I want to like throw it in a hole and never look at it again. But it doesn't take long before I'm like, oh, look, it's such a good album. So jumping between projects really was what was hard. I think it's been a lot better since we realized that it helps to do one and then the other. And also with the previous album, doing only 3 pages, I think was good. Can you imagine if we'd done all 6? That would have been a crazy chonker. You would have needed a wheelbarrow. It would have been bigger than Split Decision. Do you think you'll survive all 3 books in the new gift box? Well, I think what I'm going to do is each album, I'm going to do 3 page styles for the new gift box. Each album is going to be 100% 1 page style. And we're only going to do 3 pages to keep the books really skinny so that they'll have the same vibes as the originals. And I think that'll help a lot. Because then the total we'll only be doing 9 pages. Whereas with Half the Fun we did 12 pages. And we were like jumping back and forth constantly. Okay, so now that I've got these all taped, what I'm going to do is I'm going to burnish. And then I'm going to set these off to the side and I'm going to cut the window. Okay, going to cut the window. So the way that I'm going to cut the window is you just cut the 3 that aren't scored. So just make sure that you score one of your long ones and then cut the 3 that are not scored. And that's it. No, May, it is not. Nope. All right, so we'll cut those 3. And by putting my ruler on the inside, I can see this line and this line, so I know where to start my cut and I don't have to guess. And then I'm just gonna rub over this with my bone folder. And that's just gonna flatten out any edges that lifted. And then I'm going to erase all my lines from what I just cut. Oof. This is not the glass mat I lost. This is the glass mat that I bought to replace the one that I lost. The one that I lost, or well, that the movers lost, has still never shown up, not in 3 years. So who knows where it went, and who knows what was in the box with it. All right, and then once we get to that point, we will fold along the score line here and burnish. Okay, and then you can just flatten it back into place. And then that's for now. So go back and it's the same deal. You're going to cut the 3 lines that are not scored. Cut the 3 lines that are not scored. Oops, I must have been slightly off on this one. So there's going to be a little sliver of white showing. Probably, and I think just in the interest of time, I'm going to live with it. Because the only way to fix it would be to completely remake this piece. So just be careful when you're cutting. Make sure your knife is straight. And then again, fold along this score line. And burnish. And then go ahead and flatten it. And erase. Erase the pencil. Well, all right. All right, so that's the second one, and now we'll do the third one. Remember, you're cutting from pencil line to pencil line that you drew to make this frame. And you cut the 3 sides that aren't scored. Included with this album basics guide are the live class recordings from both versions. So if you have this album basics guide, you will get these in the folder and the previous version as well. So both versions will be in your guide folder. And then again, fold along that last score line and burnish. And then you can flatten it out and erase any pencil lines. And mostly the reason you're erasing is because you don't want, when you open the door, you don't want the edges to be silver from your graphite, from your pencil. So if you have this album basics guide, then in addition to being in the classroom archives, these will be in the tutorial with the guide videos as well. So we have the first one is already in there, and then these ones will be added as we do them. All right. So now that we've got the frame cut, we can do a couple things. We need to make the pull tabs. So what I'm going to do is I need 4x4 squares to make the pull tabs. So I'm going to cut those. Are they? No, they're 2x4 squares. 2x4 squares. No. Use your brain. 2x2 squares is what they are. And we need one for each page. So we need 3 total. Okay. So these just get scored down the middle. And then we're going to fold along the score lines and burnish. And then one side we're going to tape right here. And then the other side we're going to chomp. So put the tape next to the score line, but not touching the score line. Give yourself a, a hair in between. Okay. And then I got my corner rounder. You could use a corner rounder. I want to use an angle. So I'm going to punch the side that's not taped. Okay. All right. So now we're going to stick these on the top here. Okay. So that they will be and what I'm going to do just so it's easy is I'm just going to center this on my board. And then that way you don't have to try and measure when I think we're going to be, the measurement would be in 1/16, if we divided this in half. So to try and find the center. So rather than deal with 1/16, we'll just do it this way. And it's right on the center. See? Tabs right on the center. So this is a great way to center your projects. Just use your scoreboard. It's just easier. It's just easier. Yeah, it's great, May. I'd love it, because you don't have to do any math. You just find the center and add the thing right on top. Burnish. And then fold it shut. And then peel. Yeah, math is not my favorite either. All right. Okay, almost done. Almost done. Yep, if you don't have a scoreboard, you can use a centering ruler, absolutely. Okay. All right, so now what we need to do is, see how we have this big collar on two sides and a skinny collar on the other? So this is, we're gonna add our extensions to the side that's skinny. And I made my extensions too big, so I'm gonna go chop them down. Just kidding. And the worst part is I have to cut 2 inches off of them, so I would have already had taped tabs. If I had just waited. I almost could have pretended I did it on purpose. Alas, alas. All right, so these go down, and you just want to make sure that this edge is not touching this score line and this edge is not touching this score line. That's the most important thing. Other than that, it doesn't really matter. So the best thing to do is to fold along your score lines and burnish fat slab, because that just makes the score lines stand out more, you know? That's all. It makes them easier to see when you flip it over. You guys get out of the way. And when you stick this down, make sure you can sort of see the edge. Of the paper, because you don't want, that way it's all the same. You don't have this like little fold poking out. So you want to make sure you can see the raw edge of the paper when you stick this down. Not like much of it. I mean, you want like less than a hair. You want to be able to see one cell, one atom. How many calories do you think fat slabbing burns? Ooh. Like, how many times do I have to fat slab to not be a fat slab? That's what I want to know. All right, so now one dessert choice a day. All right. And see, the good thing about doing everything 3 times is that you know what you're doing. You don't have to remember all the steps from page to page, because you just do the step until you're done. So okay. All right, so we're almost done. So the only thing we have left to do is we have to cut a hole in the top for our tag to come out. Are we gonna make page B tonight or decorate these? What do you guys want to do? Before I do that though, I'm going to stamp for my all right, so I'm going to stamp my tags and my whatever through this window so that I can get everything lined up. I just need to get my black ink because I don't have any black ink on my desk like a nerd. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line this up on the inside so that it's centered, you know, top to bottom and side to side. And then I'm just going to pinch it when I pick it up so that when I fold it over, it's still centered. And then I'm going to use one hand to hold it in place. Ooh, this pad is dry. Can you believe this is black ink? Someone needs to re-ink her pad. My goodness. Okay, that's so bad. I'm gonna flip it over. We're gonna do it again. That's just unacceptable. Am I gonna re-ink my pad though? No. You know why? Because I'm just gonna get a different black ink pad, which means this problem is gonna persist for all of eternity. All of eternity. I know, we need Tiny Cat. Tiny Cat, come re-ink the pads. Get opposable thumbs and become a Sue Cat. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm gonna have to re-ink that one again because these are vertical. So annoying. They go side by side. Oh, wow. I lined it up really well, too. Look at that. I'm glad that I'm taking the time to put this in the window. So. Perfection. It's literally perfect. It's literally perfect. Okay. Where the heck is this? Oh, here it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eyeball these because apparently lining them up is not working for me. That's better. Here. If you really want them perfect. Wow. Why is stamping all of a sudden too hard for me? So, if you get the classroom membership, then you get access to our archive of all our live past shows. So any time I've ever been live that I've recorded, you'll have access to that going back 11 years to 2009. So you'll have the live classes for any tutorial or album basics guide I've done, but you'll also have all the live classes to projects that didn't have album basics guides or tutorials, where I just gave the measurements on camera as part of a live show. But if it was part of an album basics guide or tutorial, it won't have the measurements because it'll just be the recording of me doing it. So then if you wanted the written portion with the measurements for any particular one, you would buy the album basics guide or tutorial for that one. Okay? Album basics guides come with, and so do tutorials, they come with the live class recordings as well. So you don't need both if you just want one specific thing. So if you just want the live classes from this plus the measurements from this, then what you would do is you buy the album basics guide for this. If you want to see all the previous live classes, because you have more time to craft and you just want to see what I've been up to for the last 11 years, then you would get the membership. And then if something really piques your interest that did have a tutorial or an album basics guide, you can pick it up in the shop if you want to follow along in more detail. All right, so the membership is any live class anytime I've been live, but it doesn't have any additional measurements or anything that the live class itself didn't have. It's just a straight recording of the live class. And then album basics guides, tutorials, workshops, anything like that that has a associated live class, the live class will be included with the guide, tutorial, or workshop. Does that make sense? Let me know if you have any questions. All right, so now I just need to, I'm glad I cleaned my stamp because now I have to stamp the tags. The memberships there's quite a few classes in the memberships that have measurements given. Bunches and bunches of them. Plus any like past Scrappy Bowls where, oh, come on. Any past Scrappy Bowls where have you ever seen me make such a disaster of stamping photo stamps? Any past Scrappy Bowls where I gave like a PDF, you would have those. The PDFs are in there. So like you can download those PDFs from past Scrappy Bowls and make those Scrappy Bowl projects. All kinds of stuff. So there's a lot in the archives. Fran is not going to be impressed. Oh, I have an idea. All right, there. If Fran looks at the back of the tag, there'll be a surprise for her now. So there we go. Now we'll see. We'll see what comes of this. Past Kathryn whined about writing patterns for at least for like 4 years. Past Kathryn whined about writing patterns. I refused to do it for like the first 4 years. Are there smaller albums in the archives? Yes, there are smaller albums in the archives. I used to do a lot of envelope albums. Those are smaller. I used to do a lot of paper bag albums. So yeah, there's smaller albums in the archives. And the archives are $5 a month, or if you sign up for the whole year, you get more. You get 2 months free, and they're $49. So you can always convert a $5 membership into a yearly membership if you see it and you're like, yes, this is what I want. So basically, if you're not sure if the archives are for you, try it for a month for $5, and then you can pay for the year if you want, you know. And then if it's not, you can cancel anytime. So it's only $5 to test it. But yeah, there's tons of crazy stuff in the archives too. Okay, so I think we are now ready to assemble. So what we're going to do is, with these, we're going to put tape all around the edge on the same side as where it says favorite photo. All right, and just 1/4 inch tape because it's not, wait, is that correct? No, that's not. Forget it. Oh my gosh, what the heck? That was almost a disaster. Okay. What size are the albums in the next project? They're 7 by 14. But you could use an 8 by 8 pad, because even though they're gigantic, Vesta, the pages are all divided up into little windows. So, even though they're 7 by 14, well, I'll just show you what I mean. So, because they're 7 by 14, but so that no one has to use, like, try and find 14-inch paper, they're all going to be kind of divided up like little puzzles. See? So that it's all like tiny pieces. So if you wanted to use an 8 by 8 pad in it, you could. In the next one. That's the box set remastered, which is the next one after this one. Jennifer, I made this stamp, and I don't have it anymore with favorite spelled with an O, but I do still have some of the ones with the O OU, like the Commonwealth spelling of favorite, Favourite. So I do still have some of those, but I'm sold out of these. I am going to manufacture another stamp to replace it, but that's on hold right now because of the current world situation. So. But if you go to kathrynscraps.com and click over there, there are still some with the U. So if you really, really want it, and you can always cut the U out if you want to and use it. If you really just don't want to wait until the world stops being on fire. Let me see if I can get Mr. Lifeguard to bring me one, and maybe at the end I'll show you how to cut it if you really want to turn them into favorite. Okay, hold on. All right, so this is the acetate. Or leave the U in and spell favorite correctly. Oh dear. For those of you who do use Commonwealth English, Candy is the reason that you have a U in the first place at all. So there you go. She's the one who demanded a U. So for the UK, Australia, Canadian among you, Candy is your savior with a U. So she's your SAVIOUR. I think when she first asked, I told her I could do it, but we charge more for misspellings. So, but I'm going to show you how to convert one with a U to one without a U, and it's super simple. So if you've been wanting it, but we only have, like, if you want the original one, because it's going to be, I mean, thank you. I'll show you how to do it. Let me just finish taping these. This is the transparency film. U's are very expensive. It's the most expensive alphabet letter. Most expensive letter in the alphabet is the U. One of the biggest challenges in designing the news stamp was trying to figure out what the words would be so that I wouldn't have to do two different spellings. So, like, what was I going to write instead of favorite photo? So, all right, I just need more tape here. Let me get, oh my gosh, do I not have 1/4-inch tape? If I ask Mr. Lifeguard to bring me 1/4-inch tape, he's going to murder me. Nope, I found some. Whew. This is the transparency film. Yep, that's what this is. I hope this ink doesn't dye my nail. Yeah, this is a transparency film. Fudo, Phouto. Fudo here. Candy's just gonna start making up fake spellings. She's gonna be like, in Canada, we spell photo with an F. All right. Quickly, at the end, I'm gonna, just on its own video, I'm gonna show you so I can clip it out into its own little thing. All right, I'm gonna put the transparency back in its little bag here. Huh? All right. Yeah, the package. This is what you're looking for is right-on transparency film. The reason you want right-on transparency film is because printable transparency film has a coating on it. It's not as shiny or as clear. That's number one. And then number two is it's way more expensive. So you want to look for right-on transparency film. All right. So now I can assemble. No, I can't assemble it all yet. I have to cut the holes for my tags. That's all I gotta do. Okay. So on the side with the tab, that's where you're gonna cut the hole for your tag, okay? And you're just gonna cut, it just needs to be big enough for your tag to slide in and out without getting stuck. So what you can do is you can measure it, and I put a measurement in the guide, or you can just, if you're feeling like you can just trace it with your pencil. Trace the tag, and then just make sure when you cut slightly to the outside of the line you traced. So you can do it either way. You can do it either way. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate it. I'm still going to show you how to cut the U out if you want to. And cut just from the score line to the edge. Okay, so then you're going to have a flap like this. And then what you want to do is line your ruler up with the score line, okay, and then just cut it out. Okay, and then this is what the tag is going to come out. The other thing you then need to do is fold the sides in, and then fold these tabs up and mark the edge of the tab. And then we're going to cut a notch in the corner so that this corner will lay flat. So I'm just going to cut this little tab out of the corner here. And what that's going to do is that corner will lay flat and not have an extra layer of cardstock. And we're doing it that way because normally what I would do is I would cut on a 45-degree angle. I'd cut a triangle off either of these so that when they fold over, they meet in a miter. But here we're not going to do that because that would cut off most of this tab, and we don't want to cut most of the tab off. We want to keep the tab because it is so tiny. All right. Then I'm going to do the other two. And remember, you're cutting it on the open side. Okay, I'm just going to cut this notch open. All right. And then lift it up, fold it over, mark. Fold it over, mark. And then on the corners, just going to cut this notch. Cut this notch. All right, and then let me know if you want to decorate these 3 pages or if you want to just finish all the construction, get all the construction out of the way, and then we just decorate for 3, 6 months, the rest of eternity, whatever. You know, you can kind of chat about it in the chat. If so, then tonight what we'd be working on is the peaches. Making peaches. Okay. All right, and so these 3 are now ready for tape. Finally got to the point where we are ready for tape, which is exciting. Okay, so this is where we're going to tape them. The first place we're going to tape is around this window. All right, and make sure when you put this tape around this window that you are not getting the tape, like you want to be sure, and if it helps, you can open it. You want to be sure that you see a line of that black cardstock's edge between the edge of your tape, okay? So you do not want this to go over the edge. If it goes over the edge, then you run the risk of gluing your piece shut or your tape showing or anything like that. And you don't want that. So make sure that you can see how you can see black all the way around? You want to be able to see black all the way around, or whatever color of cardstock you're doing. All right, so once you've done that, taped all the way around, give it a burnish, and then you're going to take one of your transparency sheets and you're going to peel all the tape that's on the inside. And then you're going to take the tape that's on your transparency sheet and you're going to peel it as well. And then you put this piece face down on this piece. All right. So then run your bone folder over. And then what this does is it gives you your frame. All right. Oh, this black cardstock piece I didn't cut. So, okay, cool. Let me cut it. Good gravy. Past Kathryn strikes again. I cut the tabs. I just didn't cut the insert. Interesting, interesting, interesting choices made by past Kathryn. What would be the fun of it if past Kathryn didn't visit us? Yeah. Whatever. There we are. Okay. Past Kathryn knows I can fix anything. That's right. She just wants me to flex my fixabilities. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do the same thing with these other two. We're going to tape around the window and then tape the acetate. Well, the acetate's already taped. I already taped the acetate. So again, it's easier to make sure that the tape goes exactly where you want it, and you can still see a line of cardstock. Again, this is a very thin line, just a hair's breadth. You don't want it, you know, it doesn't need to be crazy, but you just don't want your tape to go over the edge. So yeah, it can help. So it seems like fixing the construction, not fixing the construction, finishing the construction. I'm sure it will involve fixing the construction. If past Kathryn joins us. Okay, so run tape over, or run your bone folder over the tape, then peel the tape backing. And then you just put your transparency down. So get your transparency, peel the tape. Oh my gosh, it's 4:12, whatever. We're not stopping until these are all done. Oh my goodness. All right, and then we put the transparency, you know, face down. And we'll go over the edge. All right, now we've got this one done, so we just need to do one more. Same deal, put the tape, you know. All right. Again, once you've got your tape down, burnish, then peel your tape, and then we'll put the transparency down. So get your transparency, peel your tape, and then gently press it down. Burnish. All right, yay. Okay, so once you've got them to this state, now we have the transparency in there. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna tape the edge of all of these on the inside and then all the flaps on the outside as well. And we are gonna put magnets in them this time so they'll stay shut a little bit better. So we're gonna have to, I'm gonna put magnets on the inside and you'll see how I do that. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put 3/8 inch tape on the edge of the inside and then on the score line and on the edge of the outside of all 3 of these pieces. All right, so there we go. So we're gonna do, and then when we come back tonight, I'll show you how to turn this into a peachy. Now the question is, when we come back tonight, I'm gonna see if I can extend the spine into a peachy. Because if we can, that would be super cute. Super, that way that'll save some time. So hopefully we'll be able to. And that's where when we take the spine fin and instead of making it a fin, we extend it into like a long piece, like a page. I think we have enough cardstock to work with. I'm not sure though. We might not. In fact, we probably don't. I don't know why. If I had to put flaps on the side of this, there's no way we have enough for a spine piece. So never mind. I got all hopeful for nothing. Oh well. Okay, now for the next piece, they go on the outside. Or the tape. and it goes on the score line and not on the score line. The reason I'm folding it up is so that on the flap, you know, I can see the edge of the flap and know I'm getting it so that it's not going over the edge. That's all. The only problem with doing all the construction is when it comes down to like taping time. Oh my goodness. This is kind of boring. Oh well. Oh well. But yeah, the book club book this month is what I was hoping for, in the sense that it's totally like crazy and weird, and I didn't realize that bass fishing was such a cutthroat world of gangsters and criminals. So who knew? Who knew? People do eat bass, yes. Like Bronzino, if you've ever had Bronzino in an Italian restaurant, that's a type of bass. Chilean sea bass, of course, is you see that on menus a lot. So yeah, people eat bass. Now I don't know, you know, smallmouth versus largemouth versus I do know that some basses are eaten by people. So that's what I know about it. That's true, Donna. Anytime big money is involved, corruption is going to follow. Absolutely. That's true. Barbara Jean says, I love your classes, Kathryn. Because of you, I'm a way good album maker. That's the goal. That's the goal. For you to all become way good album makers. Also, to become way chill album makers. That's the other thing. You can be way good and way chill at the same time. You don't have to sacrifice good for chill or chill for good. All right, last little bit of tape here. Yay! All right. Now I'm going to show you how to put it all together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these corners down here on the bottom. So I'm just going to cut straight through so that when you fold them over, they don't touch. So just cut straight through. All right, perfect. Now, here's the order of the stack, okay? So piece number 1 is the tag. All right, so the tag is what goes in first. Then after the tag, the photo mat, okay? All right, so once you've got them both in there, then you're going to remove your tape one piece at a time and just press it down. All right. And I know it's like we've been doing stuff and doing stuff and doing stuff to this, but now is the time when it becomes a page. All right. So now it's a page, because now when we pull this down, we see our photos, and then we pull it up and we see our photos. Ta-da! So that's how the page works. Yay! All right. All right. So we got the last two. And we're going to cut straight through. All right. Okay. So now, all right, again, the tag goes in first. Then the photo, and you want to get the photo mat is the one that you have to worry about getting straight. You want to just get it as straight as you can. It's not like the end of the world, but if this had photos on it, you would have to measure and get it perfectly straight. All right, so you want to, if this has photos on it, you would want to make sure you get it like exactly, you know, 1/8 of an inch off of the spine, so that you know that your photos are centered. So that's something you want to play around with in the window. So like, you would not stamp this with photo mats if you were making this, either for yourself or to give it as a gift. And the reason why you wouldn't is because you can't get in there to put the photos down, right? So if this is yours, all right, like your one you're making for you, and you're putting photos in it, and you want this sheet to have photos on it, it has to have photos on it now, okay? So there's a couple things you can do. One, you can do an enlargement that fills the whole window, and then it doesn't matter. You don't have to like stress about getting them lined up perfectly. It has room to have 2 4x6 photos. If you do that, then you want to just make sure that without this tag in there, open this window, get your photos lined up perfectly, and when your photos are lined up perfectly, trace around where it's got to go. That way you know exactly where to put this piece, and then you can get it lined up, okay? So that's, just be aware once you close this up, see how this one is closed up? Once it's closed up on the back, you can't, oh well, I guess that's a lie. You could slide in here. So you can get in there. Wow. Guys, look what I just discovered. You can still get in there. I mean, never mind. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't know what I'm saying. All right. I mean, it wouldn't be, you know, the easiest thing in the world, but it wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world either. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, it would be a struggle. It would not be super simple, but it wouldn't be impossible. I still wouldn't give it as a gift to a non-crafter. I still think if you're giving it as a gift to a non-crafter, you should still either ask them for a photo you can turn into an enlargement and put the photo in there for them, or just put pretty pattern paper back there. Okay, so that's the second one. So we have 2, we're making 3 total. So here's the last one. Make sure you get your photos facing the right way. You don't put anything in upside down. And we just got to do the little corners here. This is why it's called catch a tag, because once you fold these tabs down, the tag is caught. So the tag can't fall out. So this is actually a good one to give as a gift because the tags don't fall out. So you don't have to worry about your hard work getting, see how we have that white showing? That's because this is the one that I cut crooked. So just be careful. All right, now, if you don't cut yours crooked, I cut a sliver out of mine. If you don't, it won't have that white. So this is the only one that has that. Okay, so then the last thing that we do is we attach the back, the page base. So we're going to attach this to the page base. So we're going to run a line of tape along the edge of the white cardstock. Oh, that would be really cute too. Melanie says, I've seen cards where the stamp design on the acetate is plain, and then when you pull the tag out, it's magically colored because they're only coloring what's underneath. Yeah, we're going to put the magnets on this white part here. Well, that's what we're going to do. And this is when you would do it. All right, so I'm running a line of tape on the white part here at the top because that's going to help attach the page base. This time I'm going to do magnets because we are doing that folder, and again, we don't want anything that moves or swings because of that folder. All right. Oh, Barbara Jean said you could do black and white photos on the tags, and then on the page base, you could do those same photos in color. That would be interesting. So you put the black and white photos here on the tag, and then you would put the color versions down here, and that would do it as well. That would give you similar vibes, and that would be cool. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to put the magnets as close to the center really as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one here and here. And I like to put my magnets have a red stripe on one side to indicate their polarity. And I like to put them red stripe towards the front of the album. That way I just know what the polarity of my magnets is at all times. So in this case, that's going to be red stripe face down for me. All right. That Canadian website for buying magnets is Magnet for US. So magnet, the number 4, and then the letters U and S. Or magnet for us, I guess. So oops. You want to make sure that they're pretty close. They're not too close to the edge. You want to be at least a couple inches away from the edge, because you want it to be. These magnets are 1/2 inch by like 1/32 of an inch, I believe. All right. And so then I'm going to put tape on the back of the magnets. And the reason I do that is so when I put my base page down on top of them, that will glue the magnets to the base page. So they will be stuck on both sides. Then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to take my magnets and I'm going to let them drop into place. I'm going to put my glue dots on them. And then I'm going to close the door and burnish them. And then when I pull this up, the magnets will be stuck to my door. And then same thing, I'm going to take my tape and tape the magnets into place so that when I decorate this door, the magnets will be in their spot, them ready to go. All right, so this is going to keep it shut. So, but because the door will be open when you pull on the tag, you'll still be able to move the tag no problem. All right. Okay. So let's keep going. These magnets are so strong that they try to come back to the stack. All right, and then you open and you just put magnets into place. These, I think my current magnets are N45. If you can get N50, a lot of times you can use just one magnet with a metal disc. So that can save you some money. Well, I thought I'd be done before now too. We're way over. Okay, and then that's that. And last one. And then we'll put the backs on, and then these pages will be done. All right. Oh, wait, no. Okay. So I almost forgot their pairs. Fran's late, everyone. But if you, so in regards to magnets, if you usually use a magnet with a magnet, then you don't need to get N50 because any kind of neodymium magnets, magnet to magnet, are usually strong enough to hold several layers of cardstock. So it's often overkill to have N50. So it just depends on how you like to use magnets. Okay. Something weird is going on here. See this? They're squeezing out their plastic. Something funky is happening with my magnets. These are a half. What are you guys doing? Huh? Ugh, I just pulled you apart. Stop it. Ugh, what is going on? Oh my gosh. They're having a meltdown. Do you guys... What is going on with you, magnets? Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know what's going on with my magnets right now. They're being little punks. I feel like I should separate the naughty ones out. And make them be by themselves somewhere else. Because they're being total jerks. You have to be careful when your magnets, that your magnets don't do this, because if you let them do this, they start smashing into each other and see they shatter. So you have to kind of keep them from acting weird like this. If they start to act up, get rid of the weird ones. All right. I'm going to have to make a separate bag for naughty magnets and put all the naughty magnets in the bag. Okay. All right. Yeah, these magnets are very brittle. Neodymium magnets are very brittle, so you do have to be careful with them, that they don't sort of... Okay. I'm going to go get the naughty magnets their own bag to live in. And then I'll show you, we'll put the backs on and then we'll be done. All right, so magnets that are trying to squeeze out the sides, I'll just pull right off, and then magnets that are already broken, I'll pull off as well. Okay. All right, so, and I'll just use these acting up magnets first. I'll probably be done using them in 2022. Which, good thing I bought all these magnets, because what if you tried to get a magnet right now? All right, let's put the backs on these. Okay, so all the tape we need for the backs of these are on the back already. So we do not have to do anything with our base page pieces. So remove every single piece of tape that's on the back of your piece. All right, and then when you go to line this up, you line it up with this edge. So always line it up with the edge where the tag is, and line it up so that you can see the fold of the score line, so that you know this is not sticking out past the tag, and then you can stick it into place. Yes, well, it's not sample cardstock. It's I bought the packs because their samples are not. Their samples are like $3.50. No, the spine does not go in between. Nope. And then anywhere this is sticking out, you trim it off. Yeah, the hinge doesn't go, no part of the spine, the fin, any of the spine goes in between. We're gonna stick this directly to the spine. It's $3.50 for a sample. It's like $3 or $3.50 for a sample, and it's like $7.50 for a pack of cardstock. So it's like twice as much for 25 12x12s as it is for, I think, 3 8.5 by 11s. So I just bought all the 12x12s. So yeah, this is totally flat on the back. The hinge does not, this will stick to the hinge like this. So all right, so then we'll just do that again. Now you, yeah, I just don't think it's a good value. Now, if you needed to see 3 different pinks, and then you were going to order like 250 of it because you were making wedding invitations, you know, I could see that you could do it that way. But for my purposes, that does give me some if I want to, if I need certain colors of cardstock in between, that sort of thing. And I have used some of the ones we bought for the first swatch book just randomly on projects, which is why I don't have any charcoal right now. All right. Again, line this up so that you can see the fold. All right. And then trim it. If it's if the base page is sticking out anywhere, you can give it a little trim. All right. Okay. And then last one. All right, then I'm going to stick the base page to it. And again, I line the base page up with the edge where the tag is, and starting from there, I stick it down. And then I flip it over and I trim. Okay, and now I've got all 3 of my page A pieces done. They will be bound on this shorter side because this is the landscape album. We pull the tab down towards the bottom and it will open like so in the book. So this is how it is for page style A for the book. And again, we made 3 of these, so we have all 3 of them are already made. When we come back tonight, we will work on how to, I think what we'll do tonight is we'll work on how to add this to the spine, and then how to make a peachy, turn this into a spine with a peachy, and then that will allow us to put the page B's on the back of the peachy. No, that's probably what we should probably do, is make page style B, and then page A would be one half of the peachy and page B would be the other half of the peachy. That's probably what we should do. Yeah. Okay, so we'll do page B when we come back tonight. I will be back in 4 hours. 4 hours from now. So I'll be back at 9 p.m. Eastern USA time, which is 4 hours from now. We will work on page style B of the landscape version of the Catch a Tag Remastered album. And I'm going to do a recording break here, but I'm going to show you how to turn a Canadian photo stamp into an American photo stamp, since we are out of American photo stamps. All right. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I had a good time hanging out with you. We got a lot done. We got all 3 page style A's done for the next Catch a Tag Remastered variation. And I will be back in 4 hours to do page style B. So whatever time it is where you are now, add 4 hours, and that's when I will return. For those of you who are overseas, who are headed to dinner or headed to bed, thank you so much for joining us. I will see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Everyone's tiny cat. Oh my gosh, why are you like this? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh. So scary. She's so scary. Okay. All right. That's it for me. Thanks. At least for this recording. All right. I'll be back to show you how to alter the stamp. Hey everybody, it's Kathryn from Kathryn Scraps. It's Thursday, and I am going to show you how to turn the favorite with a U photo stamp into a favorite with an O photo stamp. So what I'm going to do here is, just so it's easier to see, I'm going to stamp with the STAYS-ON and let it just dry onto the stamp for a moment here, so that we know what the stamp looks like. Oh, this ink is totally dry. Yep. Okay, cool. All right, never mind. I mean, it is pretty ancient, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to just explain about, hi Tiny, how these photopolymer stamps work. And the thing about them is that they will still work after they've been cut. Ink is dry and brand new. I know. That's messed up. So what I recommend doing is you're going to cut this stamp into 3 pieces and then into 4. So now you'll have to mount them as 4 pieces on a block. You're not going to be able to get it all together. But all you have to do is first step is cut the photo off. So just carefully cut the collar in between the letters. All right, so you're cutting the collar in between the letters, and then you've got photo by itself, and then cut the collar in between the camera and the letters, and that will give you the camera and favorite by itself. And then you have to cut out the U. Okay, so then all you have to do is put it all back together on a block. And I don't have a block, I don't think, right here. So I'm just gonna line it up. What I would recommend is, I have this tiny block that I keep my favorite photo stamp on all the time. I recommend you get a tiny block like this and just keep it all together, so you only have to do this once. Because once you get it lined up, you're gonna want to leave it lined up. You know, you're not gonna wanna be messing around with it all the time. And what I'm doing with my tweezers is I'm just pushing the edges of the stamp together. Then you line photo up and line the photo up with the edges of the stamp, of the camera, and then this should work. Let's see how close it is to the original. Tiny Cat's exploring right now. All right, so here's the original. And we'll stamp the adaptation next to it. There you go. But like I said, you're not going to want to be lining all four of them up all the time. So what you want to do is keep them all, you know, like find something you can keep them all together on and use as a block so that you're not having to line them up all the time. And then that way you can just keep them all together. But if you want the stamp and you don't have a way, and we don't have it anymore, we just don't have it anymore, is the issue. So that's a way you can make it. We still have the one with the U, so you can turn the one with the U into one without the U by just snipping it. So the main thing you have to do is just make sure when you're cutting it is that you're cutting what's called the collar. This right here, this extra, that's the collar. So make sure you don't cut any stamp image, only cut the collar, and you'll be fine. But you can absolutely cut your stamps, your acrylic stamps. They still work totally fine after you cut them. I cut my stamps all the time. The original favorite photo stamp was cut. I cut a bunch of stamps I had together and made a favorite photo stamp that I used for a long time out of other stamps. So there you go. That's how you can turn the one with the U into one with an O. As long as you have like a permanent block that it can be attached to, it's no problem and it'll work just the same. I mean, you can do it even if you don't have a permanent block to attach it to, but it's going to be a hassle lining it up every time. So there you go. So thank you so much for watching. That is how you adapt the favorite photo stamp. I'll put this video in the archives as well. And everyone, I will see you later tonight. Bye now.